All right, welcome to Witchpolice Radio. Here I am on the internet again, which is where I live now, basically, doing this podcast because I can't see anyone in person. But the guest on the show, you were on the show, I think it's a couple of years ago now, and that was in person when you were there. We had all three members of Shadez there, and we were going over a bit of a historical background of what you guys have been doing and some of the reissues and things like that. But you're on here as yourself, and you have some new music out as well. But I think the best way to get this started off is if you want to just introduce yourself, and then we can take it from there.
All right, wicked. Well, my name is Badd Mannaz. I used to be in a group called Shadez. I run a clothing line as well, YW204.
Yeah.
You check that out on my actual IG page, YWG_204.
Cool.
At me anytime.
Right on. So I mean, you mentioned right at the beginning there that you were a member of Shadez, which I think is probably where most people, listening to this podcast would recognize you from, whether it's from your past appearances on this show or just from being around the music scene, seeing you guys live, hearing your records over the years. So, but the newest thing you have is it kind of seems like a Shadez song because you're all on it.
Oh yeah,
but it's a solo track, and it's really good. Like, it's probably one of the best, my favorite local singles this year for sure already.
Really? I appreciate that.
I really love it, and so I guess what's the story behind that? How did this come together? And because as far as I know, have you done a lot of your own stuff outside of the group?
Never, never. Well, I'm coming out with a little EP thing called Badd Mannaz, the real thing, just a play off a thing, the drink.
Yeah.
So I got a beat actually from BBS Steve and a few from Chemo, from Rascals.
Cool.
And this one is from my boy Vago. So I was just looking for beats and stuff, and I just wanted to try something. And I really like Lindo P. From Toronto. I've always liked his music. He's Canadian, and he's really dope at doing the reggae thing right now.
Yeah.
Well, always for years. So he's I guess an underground reggae and a DJ, everything.
Yeah.
Like you know him. He's done stuff with Cardi. He's out there.
Yeah.
Rihanna as well. For those who didn't know.
That's huge.
Kind of list. Yeah. But originally I was gonna do it with just him and I.
Okay.
The song. And I just thought, you know what? I'll just turn into something, but introduce as me, but have a Shadez track together once again. Okay. So originally it was just me and Lindo, and then I put Leonard, and then we just said, well, we'll just get Chris on the hook.
Just get everybody in on it, yeah. I mean, the thing I like about it, personally being a big reggae nerd, like that everything about it kind of appeals to my musical tastes. But I also like how, you guys have always represented your culture in your songs, but this is very, very overt. I mean, it's very much, we are West Indians, here's what we're singing about. But you're in Winnipeg too, right? You're kind of covering both elements of that. Yeah, so you have the West Indian side and the Winnipeg side very strongly kind of both represented on the track. So what was the decision, I guess, to make that so overt in this song? Because I know, obviously, in Shadez tracks and everything, you guys touch on that stuff, fairly often as well. But this is very much in your face. This is who you are. This is your, both cultures kind of merged.
Yeah. It was basically, how can I put it? I was getting sick of hip hop, and I just got back into dance all over again. I was like, you know what? I'll do it the music that I like. Like, it has that 90s kind of feel to it at the same time, and the 80s with the sound.
Yeah.
So I basically just thought, you know what? If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it this way now, this time. The West Indian culture way of, I just love my culture a lot. So if you follow me on Instagram, I'm always either showing anything that has to do with my culture. And yes, there is West Indian people in Winnipeg. People always think there's no West Indian people. When we used to tour, people would be like, Toronto? No, Winnipeg. And the blank look that we give is, they have black people in Winnipeg? Yes, we have black. Unfortunately, yes, people, we're everywhere. And Jamaicans are everywhere.
Yeah. Well, and that's, I think, one of the things that maybe, Toronto, obviously, a lot of Toronto hip hop has that very strong dancehall influence and reggae influence. And Winnipeg has its own style for sure, but I don't think that's necessarily been such a huge part of it in a lot of songs, even though there's a lot of artists here who have that kind of heritage and background, right? So it's kind of cool to hear, especially because there's the outright dancehall elements, and then there's the straight ahead hip hop as well in this song, kind of mixing together in a bit of a unique way too.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, that's how I exactly want to rep it that way. More like a hip hop, but still have the traditional sound of reggae in it, the dancehall sound of it. And
Yeah,
that's why I got Lindo, because I was like, man, the only person I can see really do this the right way would be Lindo on it. And I
yeah,
actually have Stamina, who's on the mic, and he's one of the originators out in Winnipeg
for sure.
for
Yeah,
years.
yeah,
Been doing it as well, musically and everything. And plus, he has a sound. So I
yeah.
just want to mix everybody and get everything involved.
Well, it's very cool to see Stamina in there because I had almost forgotten. You know, I used to go to a lot of shows back in the day and see like Ja Vibes and stuff, and you know,
Oh, yes.
he'd always be DJing or being part of the band or all those things. And I must have seen him 20, 25 times more, maybe when I was a teenager in early 20s and stuff. And then I forgot, and then all of a sudden he shows up in the video, and it's like, oh,
Yeah, yeah.
Stamina, right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's in there.
That's
Well, when you
super.
watch the video, if anyone has seen it, just punch in Badd Mannaz champion.
Yeah,
I tried to bring back that kind of feel of Black Rama again, and
yeah,
but it was like how we grew up. That's how we grew up. Dominoes, enjoying the parties at Jam Hall.
right.
That's how we all met. We all through the culture of the West Indian culture
Yeah.
connection. And I wanted to do something like that for the video.
How do you think that that's going to be received by kind of the current generation of Winnipeg hip hop kids? You know, I mean, you know, certainly some of them have the same background and they've you know the same kind of experience, but a lot of them are from at this point from everywhere, right? I mean, it's so diverse now. So, do you think that those? I mean, what do you think someone some 20-year-old now in Winnipeg, wherever they're from, listening to this, what do you think they're going to take from it? Or are you mostly aiming it at the older crowd
I was
that would
aiming at the older crowd.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
The funny thing is these kids were like, that really happened out here? That goes on? They didn't know this goes on out here, so it's funny.
Yeah.
Like, they do that? Where is that place? Which is Miss Christine's restaurant.
Right.
And I'm like, there's a Jamaican restaurant. And they're like, they had parties like that? And I'm like, yeah, there's parties. There's things going on.
Yeah.
There's things going on. They didn't even know. That's 20-year-old. They're like, what is this guy saying or whatever? But they're shocked.
Yeah.
But again, I thought the older crowd would gravitate to it, but I got the younger crowd as well. So it's pretty funny. It's weird. It's a mixture. It's a mixture.
That's cool. So you've been so long as part of a trio, right? Where you're one of the voices, and you all have very distinct voices, and you kind of fill a certain spot within that group. So obviously, I know they're all on this track as well. But you know, what is kind of your sound that you want to put out as a solo artist, as Badd Mannaz? What is kind of your vibe that you're trying to put out there? You know, because you're not always going to have those two guys there and then fitting as part of a whole, right? So
my vibe's more of a, well, I'm half Bayesian, half Jamaican, so it's more like I'm gonna be making sure it's like a fete. So you're gonna jump up, have a good time.
Right.
I'm not a serious guy, so if you know me, people know me. If I came too serious, I'd be like, what the heck, that ain't. But my vibe's more of a bashment reggae, soca jump up with mix of boom bap hip hop.
Okay.
Boom bap hip hop, so that's what you're gonna expect from me.
Right on.
I ain't shoot nobody.
yeah.
I'm not sipping no lean. I don't know the latest slangs, so you're just gonna get good traditional bashment, boom bap, pop type of thing.
All the good stuff, right?
Yeah, all the good stuff.
All the good stuff combined. So, are the rest of the tracks you're working on for this EP, are they all in that kind of mode as well?
Yeah, more like that kind of thing. It's more like that. Yeah, definitely more of a mixture of dancehall and a reggae feel and stuff like that.
Cool.
So you'll see 90s type of feel.
Yeah.
There's some, a mixture.
Right on. Hopefully. So Winnipeg, like you said, you mentioned Blackarama. There has been a big reggae scene over the years, in past years. Maybe not so much right now. I don't see a lot of bands these days. But what do you think is kind of Winnipeg's take on Caribbean music? Like, outside of the culture itself, right? Because obviously people who have that background, they're going to gravitate towards it. They're already into it. And then you have like weirdos like me who are nerds about it, but then, but like just on the whole, right? Do you think Winnipeg is a city that will embrace that kind of sound?
I think they are. I'm going to say this is going to the younger kids.
Okay.
I think Drake brought that kind of sound to the kids.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. When I hear them say little things like, yo, who's that ting? Or this thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're using them like, these guys don't even know what they're but they like that music, and I feel like they gravitated to it more because of Drake. Sure. I can't even front up. That's just my opinion. People might bet the differ on that. But
it might be.
You know what I mean? He brought it more to a mainstream for these kids.
Yeah.
Before, I don't think they really. It wasn't like when we grew up that you could. It was huge.
Yeah.
It was huge, you know. And then Drake came and did the whole Toronto mixture sound with the reggae thing, and he kind of brought it back to what it once was before.
Yeah.
For me, that's what I've noticed. Because you notice some of these other rappers, like American rappers, are kind of trying to do that, and you clearly know they're American, and they try to put that accent. It's funny, you hear them talk like they're from Toronto now.
Right. Yeah.
Or the West Indian type of thing. So it's funny. It's funny.
Yeah. Well, it's it's funny, interesting you mentioned that because listening to the song, right? I mean, all of you guys are West Indian, and you're using slang in the song. You're putting on accents. You know, some of the lyrics have are with an accent. Some are with the Canadian accent, right? But I mean, it's a unique thing. I think it's even different than how Toronto sounds, because obviously again a lot of Toronto artists are doing that kind of vibe too. But it's like a weird Winnipeg West Indian thing. I think it's like so many different subgenres of things have broken down now, and then there's this Winnipeg prairie reggae.
Or what we say now is like the Black Prairie Boys type of talk or something. I guess you would say something like that still. So it's funny, like how you say it, right? Yeah. It's like a mixture. Winnipeg, Jamaican, or I'll just say West Indian mixture talk. Yeah, basically. Because if I go to Toronto, and be like, yo, these guys aren't really from here. But they're West Indian. Because when we speak Jamaican, they understand it. But then when we talk, they're like, yo, what happened? Like, if you saw the preview of my video, the guy talking to my buddy Jay, he'd be like, yo, wagwan, and talk to you. And you think he's from Jamaica. Then all of a sudden you hear this guy talk. And you're like, what the heck? And he's from Regina. Born and raised in Regina. So it's funny. Exactly what you said.
Yeah. Well, I think it's so cool too that like from such a geographically small part of the world, just the way that the culture's tentacles have kind of spread all over everywhere. I mean, like I listen to a lot of UK hip hop because that's how I got into reggae in the first place. My dad's from England, and like he brought records when he came here to Canada and stuff, and I got into reggae that way, and that's been a big part of my music listening. And like a lot of the hip hop I listen to from over there is like super heavy dancehall influenced, and the slang and everything, and it's kind of like a parallel to what's happening here, but it's different. They mix it with their
with their slang,
and it becomes
Manuva, for instance, right?
Totally.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and that's what got me into it too. I was like, this is dope. Yeah. And all of a sudden, I heard them start to get into that garage and all, and they lost me at garage. I didn't understand all that dubstep and all that.
Yeah.
But I like all that. Yeah, like you said, the hip hop when it was mixed like that.
Yeah,
I loved it. Yeah,
there's something to be said about it, right? About combining the cultures and making something new that it carries elements of both, or of all three, or all four, or whatever different stuff you're sort of mixing together.
Right. It's really dope. Yeah, So that's how you got into the whole thing. I was wondering how did you get into reggae music before?
How did some dorky white guy from the Winnipeg? Yeah, no, I grew up listening to reggae because it's so huge in England, right? And my dad came here, before I was born, so it would have been in the 70s, and that stuff was happening over there. So these ska records and rocksteady records and reggae and everything, and I kind of, when I was a teenager, I just kind of stole those from him. Like, these are mine now.
And this adapted to the culture of makes sense.
Yeah, it's weird, but
that's really dope.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, growing up, that's all you ever heard on the household.
Sure,
and on a Sunday, you're gonna hear that Champion song. Actually, when my boy sent it to me, I was laughing because that's Pinches originally, called Bandolero.
Yeah, okay, for sure.
Yes, that was the Bandolero sample, and I was like, holy, this is my childhood memory. I gotta take this off of you.
Yeah.
So shout out to Lago on that one. I grew up with him in Vancouver, actually.
Cool.
Yeah, and he made the beat. So right away I was like, this is something that special to me, and he flipped it so dope. I had to use it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's like it sticks in your head when you hear it.
Yeah, it's an earworm, right? It's for sure. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think that's why I like it so much too. I mean, not just that it has elements of stuff that I listen to anyway, but the hook is just so good. It's so summer. It's so summer, and you released it in like October.
Yeah, thanks COVID. Trust me, I was trying to. It was done a while ago. I wanted it in the summer too, but yes, and then everything for the video and everything too. We were trying to get it out, and then COVID everything hit.
Yeah.
and everything else. Life got in the way.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. Well, how has COVID affected you with this? Because I mean, I think everyone who does anything has been affected in some way, right? Whether it's
Yeah.
any kind of artist, but like, has it affected your kind of plans for releasing this EP or for recording?
Yeah, I had everything I wanted planned to roll out, but to do shows and everything now, it's like,
You can't.
dude,
Yeah.
like you need. I'm happy. I'm getting positive feedback off the video, but I think shows and having it being played everywhere when people are out in that environment,
Yeah.
it would have probably done a lot better than what I thought it would have done.
Well, has that
But
party kind of vibe too, right?
exactly, yeah. So yeah, COVID kind of killed me right now. But you know what? 2021, new year. I
Yeah.
got more
Right.
stuff coming, so I'll make sure I hit them again with something better, even
Cool.
better.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, when do you expect the EP to come out? Do you have an idea when that's going to happen, or is that still up in the air?
It's up in the air. I move like a turtle. I move like a turtle. I'm in no rush, but I'm just gonna keep. I want to make sure it's perfect. Maybe
Yeah.
it's me. I want to make sure it's really perfect. It sounds. I want it to match what I did already with Champion, basically.
Okay.
Instead of rushing, I want it to make sense. Everything to make sense. Like Champion was what? I got that beat maybe a year ago or whatever.
Okay.
And
It's been a while.
yeah, it's been a while. I just move slowly.
Is that
Len's
the pace?
the MC. Len's the MC. He's
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, he's
That's
always
it.
putting stuff out. He's always seems to be doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the MC. If you want to hear all the MC, go check Len.
Have you always worked that way? Like even when you were with Shades, are you the slow, methodical kind of?
Yeah, I'm slow. But if you tell me there's a few drinks involved, I'm quick. So,
Right. Right on.
But yeah, I've always been that way. I always like to break down, think things. Maybe I overthink it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Until there's a deadline, then you have to be. Right?
But there's something to be said for that, though, right? For wanting to do it perfect and wanting to spend the time on it to get it exactly right. How that works in your head, anyway.
Yeah, well, especially when you're rapping when you're rapping with two good guys like Leonard and Chris.
Yeah.
You got to step it up.
Yeah. Well, what did you feel was your role within Shades? Like, I mean, like I said earlier, you all have very distinct voices, and you kind of, really make up a really good whole. The three of you together, your different sounds. But what was kind of your position within the group? How did you see yourself?
I was more the people person type of guy. I'm more the outgoing partier type of guy. And
Sure.
People just I'd always make sure I like to entertain people, get them hyped up. I was more like the hype guy. Basically, okay. I'm not gonna lie to myself. I knew who I was. I don't need to lie to myself.
Yeah.
And more like that. That was my main thing. Definitely.
Cool. So you mentioned that. Oh, go ahead.
And if you want to get beat in the face with lyrics, go check Chris. If you want to think about the deepness and stuff, you check Leonard. If you want to party, like I said, I want to jump up and have a good thing, listen to me. So it's all three in one.
Yeah. I think that worked, right? Because you have the three different personalities there too, for sure. Yeah. So you mentioned off the top about your clothing line too, and I always wanted to ask you about it because I see all the stuff you post on Instagram, and it's so locally focused on Winnipeg, right. Which is awesome. How long have you been doing that for?
This is gonna be my 4th year.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been my 4th year. I stumbled on just doing it for fun. And I just made one shirt, and people were like, "Yo, where did you get that?" And that's how it developed, the snowball effect.
Cool. Because I like the neighborhood specific stuff. Like you're definitely breaking Winnipeg beyond just
Yeah, I do the neighborhood, EK, and all that. Yeah, you've seen all that, right? The North
End. It's cool. Yeah.
So I always make sure the North End goes straight to Hood Hoppers. My boy Bubbles, he runs through that stuff quick.
Right, I bet, yeah.
Shout out to Bubbles.
Do you think that, because I think a lot of people, because Winnipeg's not exactly a huge city, right? A lot of people kind of see it as just this monolith, this one city, and everyone's the same. But I think that there definitely are, not divisions, but separate personalities to each neighborhood in the city. And then people who come from a certain area, there's often something about them that you can just, oh, you're from there. Okay, it makes sense, right? So I think you've hit on something with separating into the neighborhoods and promoting the neighborhoods too, because I think that people are proud of being from Winnipeg, but they're also proud of where they're from.
Where they're from, yeah. But nobody's more proud from where they're from than West End and North End. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Yeah, they rep hard.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, St. James.
Really?
I don't know where they come from, but when they DM me like crazy. I'm like, St. James? Who's from St. James?
Yeah, I don't know. I live in St. James now, but I'm not from there.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
What area are you from?
I'm from Wolseley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Wolseley and then West End. Wolseley and West End. So I grew up in Wolseley, then moved to West End. But yeah, that's
a peaceful fighter.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. But I feel like, I think that's a good example. Like Wolseley, Wolseley has the stereotype of hippies and stuff. And I kind of fit it. It's just not far off, I got long hair, it's tied back right now, I got a beard, sitting here listening to reggae and stuff, yeah. So there's a thing, and then obviously you've tapped into that, I think, with the area specific stuff. I think it's very cool.
Thank you very much. And I got more stuff coming out. I got the camera on. I did it before, obviously. You can see behind me. I got it. Nice, like Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Shameless plug. But yeah, yeah, I got that coming. Few things up my sleeve, plus my music as well.
Sure, yeah. So I guess obviously you love Winnipeg and you're promoting Winnipeg, through the clothing line and musically as well. What do you think one of the questions I've been trying to solve, a problem I'm trying to solve throughout doing this podcast is just trying to figure out what Winnipeg's whole thing is, Winnipeg has a sound, whether you're a metal band or a country singer or a rapper, and it has there's some kind of unique culture to the city that I think no one can really put their finger on what it is, and why there's so much art that comes out of here, and why there's so much creativity, and I think the usual answer people give is oh, well, it's cold in the winter, we got nothing else to do, and maybe that is why. But I don't know, do you have any ideas on that, on what it is about this city that people are so willing to try things and experiment things and just create that, considering our size, is kind of disproportionate? Yeah.
I think it's just within the community. I think other than, you're right. It is cold or it's too hot, one of the two. There's no in between in Winnipeg, eh?
Yeah.
But it's true. When it's cold, I think you don't go anywhere. You don't do much, and you're stuck. You just get creative and do things and figure things out.
Yeah.
That's all I can think, to be honest. It sucks to say it, but it's true.
It might be the answer.
Yeah. Well, the best one is, and this is kind of off topic, but it's about Winnipeg.
Okay.
Everybody's like, I hate Winnipeg. It sucks. And then they end up moving back.
Yeah, they stay.
I want to know what's going on. Winnipeg is it's just full of mystery.
Yeah.
Every Winnipegger, they hate it. Or my friends who move away, man, I'm never coming back. So what's going on out there? Nothing changed, eh?
Yeah.
Well, what am I missing? Why do you care? You said you hate it. They want to know. You always want to know, are they come back? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Winnipeg is, I said this to Bird, Winnipeg is the black hole. When he told me when I lived in Vancouver, I'm moving to Winnipeg, oh man, it's the black hole. And I lived in Vancouver and moved back.
Yeah. I think you're right about that, because I know people who have moved away, but they represent Winnipeg so hard. If they're in Toronto or Vancouver, they never shut up about being from Winnipeg. But I know a guy who's in Toronto. He's got a Winnipeg tattoo, and he lives in Toronto, and he's lived there for ages. But that Winnipegness is part of the character. They wear it like a badge on their sleeve. I'm from Winnipeg. We survived this.
Dario.
Yeah, sure.
Dario always reps that too. I don't remember that band's name, but I think there's a hotel in Toronto. I forget the singer's name. It was a band from here. Is it the Watchman? The Watchman, or was it?
Yeah, that guy has a hotel or something, right?
Yes, yeah, and it's all Winnipeg stuff in there apparently. Yeah, all that. Yeah, it's either you love it or you hate it, but you end up still loving it the same way.
Yeah, you can't. What anyone
says.
Can't avoid it, right?
Yeah, you can't avoid it. It's home.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is. Yeah, it's home to for all these weird people from everywhere, and we sort of survive somehow.
Or some of my friends. Exactly. Or some of my friends would visit me from Vancouver back in the day, and they're like, man, I didn't know Winnipeg was like this.
I think that's another part of it. Yeah.
They say, I didn't know it was like this. And their favorite thing is, you guys got the best looking girls. They always say that to me. For a small city, they're like, just natural, beautiful girls or something.
Yeah.
What's in the water? So what's in the water or what's in the mosquito to suck that blood? I don't know. The mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Or frostbite.
Yeah, both combined. It's a combination.
Yeah.
The dirty water, the mosquitoes, and the frostbite. It all comes together.
Makes a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So the video for, just to get back to Champion here, the video's out, and can people get the song? They can get it on the streaming services and stuff at this point?
Actually, I'm working on that now. So yeah, that will be on streaming service for everybody on all platforms. I think in like, I'm trying to figure out when, but yeah, I'm getting on that right away. Like I said, I'm eternal, guys.
Yeah. And so this is, like you said earlier, this is really your only solo song so far, right? Do you have anything else out there that at all that's like floating around anywhere, or is this is the one?
No, this is the one, but you'll get the full me in another track. On the rest of the tracks, it's going to be just strictly me, yeah. So you'll hear the full 2 minutes and 30 seconds of me on every song.
Yeah. Cool. So if people are if people want to check out the video or want to hear more of your stuff, or just follow what you're doing, and maybe they want to follow you to see when the EP's coming out, things like that, what's the best way to find you online?
Your best way for me to get me is at YWG_204.
Okay.
And you can get all the stuff up there. Or you can check my video and the link and everything else is up in there.
Cool.
So make sure you guys check it out.
Yeah,
check out the video.
And I'll link to it in the show notes too. So
okay, wicked.
Easily. Yeah, because it's a really good video. I mean, the song is great, but the video is it's fun. I think it matches the song really well, and it captures like that whole, like we're saying, the Winnipeg West Indian thing.
That's all I wanted, and I wanted to get tied in within the video, the party. This meant a lot to me, so I'm just gonna put this out there. The black-owned business, as you can see with us on the scooters. So that's Duncan. Miss Christine's Kitchen, they're a black-owned company. I try to get within the community a lot and try to do things within the black community a lot.
Yeah.
So, like, shout out to Zuke. That's another clothing line. And
okay.
It's a small community, man, so that you can only do so much, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I try to piece everything together.
Yeah.
Get everybody and let them see what's more. Like, people hit me up like, where's that restaurant you were at? And, just to help the black community out any way I can. I'm a part of it. I'm for it.
Yeah. Well, and that hopefully that gives them business too, right? That people are like, that business is great. I'm going to check it out. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, exactly. So the whole thing about the video is we tried to get to the party. The car breaks down.
Yeah.
So you call it the boys with the scooters, Dunkins. And, you have to have dominoes in the video. That's
of course. Yeah.
Religious thing in the Caribbean. And some good food. Food and rum. We love our rum.
Yeah, the rum, right?
We love our rum.
Right on.
Mount Gay rum.
One of the things that I like in the video, too, is you have the kind of customized the 204 shirts with the flags on the side.
Right, yeah.
That's cool. Are you doing more of those, like with other flags?
I think I have a British one for somebody I know that I'm talking to right now.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, I was hinting at that. Yeah.
I got a British one for you, brother.
It's a cool idea, right? Because, like, I mean, so many people from here are from somewhere else, like, whether they are direct immigrants or their roots or their whatever, right? So, yeah, it's a cool way to kind of show the culture. And again, it's both things. It's the flag on the arm and then Winnipeg on the front.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. So, always wear your heart on your sleeve.
Yeah.
And have rep where you're from now. You know what I mean? So basically, that was the idea.
For sure.
That's what I did. Yeah. Because everybody thought it was only Caribbean, but I'm like, nah, I'm doing everything. So I'm doing everything out there. But yeah, I'll make sure I hook you up with one. I got
right on, man. Awesome.
I'll do a trade for for your Witchpolice there.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Right on, man. Cool.
All those T-shirts, they're cool.
Yeah, they worked out pretty well. Yeah. One of the things I like about kind of where we are right now, especially with the pandemic and everything, is that people are just making their own shit. Like whether it's t-shirts, whether it's podcasts, whether it's music, it's kind of, I think a lot of people have been inspired to, well, I have time, I want to do something. And like, you can't play shows, you can't go to shows, you can't see friends, you can't go to a party, you can't go to a bar, you can't do anything. So let's, why not start something, right? So I'm seeing a lot of that, and it's nice to see, for sure. I mean, I know you've been doing the shirt thing for a while now, but it's nice to see other people coming up. I've seen more people sort of say, hey, here's my clothing line. I wasn't going to do it, but now that the pandemic's happened, and then they come up with some cool stuff. So
I'll tell you as much. Whoever wasn't creative is definitely creative now over this pandemic.
You have to
So
be.
thanks to COVID for that. So there's a positive and a negative, right?
Yeah, right on.
People are like, I didn't know I could do that. Some non-drinkers turned into heavy drinkers. So
out of necessity for sure. Yeah.
yeah.
To get
Some
through it.
people weren't chefs, now they're chefs. You know.
Yeah. Is there one spot where people can find all the merch that you have? Like, I mean, is there a website or anything where they can see all the designs and all the shirts and stuff?
Just right now on my Instagram, but I'm working on the website of bywg204.ca.
Cool. Okay.
But like I said, still a turtle, but don't worry, people, it's coming.
Right on.